Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah, my daughter's moving to California in a couple of weeks. Yeah, San Fran,
Oh, okay.
San Francisco.
Right now. That's sort of. Probably still got smoke. We used to have smoke in Miami and South Beach where fires were inland and up in the middle of Florida. Oh, it was terrible. When I lived on Long Island, we had it for
We had it
months
here.
after
We
September.
were here last summer. You were choking on it.
We were from the Canadian wildfires.
Oh, that's right.
Right, we also had some down in Catskills too.
And some of the Berkshires, actually the backside of Butternut Basin Fire.
Oh, my not kidding.
Some people have some pretty cool pictures of that coming up over the ridge.
Moving to a safe place in California or San Francisco.
She's moving to San Francisco, apparently.
That's not safe.
Not entirely, it's not, but apparently
used
her
to
neighborhood
much.
is nice, but she's like, oh, don't stay there. If you stay over here, you're okay. Don't go there.
I spent years trying to help the state be resilient against crisis, and it was always viewed as seismic. What's going to be the big issue? They passed a law like 15 years ago that said that by 2030, every healthcare facility had to be independent in terms of power and water for 96 hours. And they called it seismic readiness. And I went to every hospital and helped them develop solutions. And Cedars-Sinai was the largest. And we built a gigantic water reuse system in their substructures. And it was the largest private water reuse system in California. And I spent years helping them be ready for, Armageddon there. But nobody imagined it to be that the place would burn down.
Yeah, it's. And I'm gonna try to say this without any partisanship.
We're live, just.
Exactly. Well, it's a difficult situation for everyone involved.
Try to do that tactfully.
Well, that place is also never designed to support 11 million people, and when you live there, you understand it. So when you have to divert through the largest rivers in America,
Yeah.
in order for you just to be able to sustain life.
My sister works for the New York State Department of Health, and she was watching the state of the state today, and she experienced that. I don't know the details yet, but so get ready. It's true.
There's fog everywhere. Well, so maybe you can help orchestrate in Kathy's absence, just have us on track.
Okay, I'm just gonna ask you to speak loudly because the mic is all the way over there. So I guess I call this meeting to order. It is 4:12-ish. So the first item is the approval of the December 10, 2024 meeting minutes.
So we didn't start that meeting until 4:20, so we're starting early today.
Yeah.
Yeah. Laura and I were a little late.
Staying over.
Weren't we here on time last time?
It says 4:20 p.m. we started.
Were we giggling at the time?
I'll make the motion to approve the minutes as presented.
I'll second.
Any discussion?
We just had it. We're talking about punctuality.
I don't understand why we ask if there's discussion after we,
Well, because you have to move it so that it can be discussed under parliamentary.
but we always discuss it first.
Well,
and then
that's
make a
because we're
motion to
informal, but if you really followed.
You put it on the, you move it.
And it works better in a larger crowd too, so, if you had 25 people, you might have more people wanting to jump in when they have a moment to make a comment, so.
So all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, and then next order, I'm gonna ask for a motion to discuss the the December 2024 financials.
So I don't think we,
I
well,
don't think you need,
I don't think you need a motion, but
Okay.
please go ahead and
Talk about it.
talk about it.
Okay, so the fund balance is 1.061, well, 1,061,000. We're still calling them cash equivalents, but they are mostly money market funds. They're liquid. We just had one more T-bill mature in December. The gains were 500. Maybe the gains are not what they were originally. We have one more that will mature in this month. And likely we're going to roll it into the money market fund at 4.42.
So we don't want to do any more.
The T-bills have a lower rate.
Okay.
Yeah, the rate has
Gotcha.
come down. I mean,
Okay.
I can find out the rate. We will meet for the board meeting before that, so I'll have some rates to share.
I think it's very conceivable that we'll go back to higher interest vehicles later in the year, depending on what happens with interest rates. That makes sense now, but I think it's possible that we will rebound.
If there are any market funds, we can do that anytime, right?
Yes.
So, yeah.
And 4.42 is not bad.
No.
Compared to what it was, it's
Three.
crazy
3.5 over what we were getting.
for years.
So that, I mean, so most of that still is liquid as money market. The cash that we have in our other accounts is 276,000. The accounts receivable is 168 and some, and that is all contract payments that are due. We're owed the second half for Queensberry, and we're owed quite a bit from Warren County, and I'm told that it's forthcoming.
My,
Got it.
My
And some
spe-
from Glens Falls too?
Yeah, the last one from Glensville, that's not what to do, we
Okay.
just, we only send it out at the end of the year, and then the same thing for LBC, it's 1 month.
my speculation is that we will carry that 57
Yes.
from an accounting standpoint. You just accrue for it. What do you do?
Well, I don't know.
It's a contract, you've already billed it, correct?
Well, contract has not been signed.
Oh, it still hasn't. been.
They approved it. They approved.
Oh,
the
we
dollar.
didn't
Say,
We have not yet signed what was presented to us, nor do I believe that we will. We're in the process of developing a counter to them. We're doing the work and they've approved the money. But they're not gonna cut a check until this
You
contract
signed
is
it.
agreed upon.
Okay,
well, so
At
what's
least
gonna,
that's my.
and you're asking for changes to the language. Your
Well,
terms.
yes, yeah, we consulted an attorney, we'll go through this at the board meeting, but we've consulted an attorney and they've cleaned up the core agreement. Which really has to do with just making it current. There's an indemnification clause that they wanted to put in and some other things that are just making it aligned with all our other contracts. The scope is being really consolidated and reviewed to make sure that it's still all relevant. And so I don't know that it's necessarily a dramatic change in scope, but the way that it's depicted, instead of pages of individual bullet items, we organized it in terms of primary areas of responsibility and more clear on the deliverables. I suspect that from a content standpoint, there isn't going to be significant pushback. It's that this is still a 1-year agreement that we're proposing back instead of the 3-year agreement that was provided to us. And our legal counsel did not, they can't even see a way to do that. Their view is you would have to execute either a multi-year agreement, which was not agreed upon by Queensberry. Like they don't do multi-year agreements typically as a municipality, but if they do, they have to call them out in a specific resolution and they can do that. And so his view is they're not really even in a position to be able to do that. But his take on it is you would choose to do 3 1-year agreements rather than 1 3-year agreement anyway.
Does Queensberry have an in-house attorney that prepared this, or was it outside counsel?
Well, they have an in-house attorney. I don't know whether they were the ones who prepared it.
Okay, and do they have outside counsel too?
They've brought outside counsel in the past. I've never
Okay,
engaged them.
okay, and our attorney would have access to them.
Yeah, but I mean, Mark Scheckner is typically the one that handles most of their day-to-day affairs.
Okay,
But my point is, from an accounting standpoint, this is not going to be resolved by the time that we close the books. So we need to be clear about what the treatment is of carrying that receivable across the year.
It just carries across the year.
What was the 57,000?
It's gonna be 114, actually.
A receivable related to work done in 24 or work done in 25?
No, the 57 is for 24, the 114, which is the total, It's not all.
But you have an agreement that it's gonna be paid.
We don't have an agreement. They have passed a resolution that says that they will fund that full amount. But the contract they provided to us was a 3-year agreement with a depreciating amount of income over those 2 years. That's what we reviewed a number of versions. And so,
Probably not as well. I thought you-
yeah, and so we're in the process now of countering that. By the way, this is not without precedent for whether it was the county most recently, but we once went in during my tenure here, we went into October of a
When
calendar
I first
year
got here, yeah,
without a signed contract.
but it's booked in 2024. It's just hanging out as a receivable.
That's fine, your
Yeah.
calendar, the financial statement people will decide what the gap rule is on it based on what the situation is.
I'm mostly making sure you're aware of it, so that it's fully disclosed. So I cannot see how this gets resolved before we close the books and present them for audit.
And if we close our books March 31st,
No.
No, we close them this month
oh, this month, oh, gotcha,
and then go through the audit process to be able to prove them in March.
March.
My guess is that they'll leave that call a bit, and as long as you have the contract in hand before the financials are released, they'll leave it as receivable, but I can't speak for them.
I don't know that we will. And we'll be forthright in explaining that to them. Because it's a negotiation, and I certainly can't say definitively.
Well, they might ask us to take it up. What do you think about folks?
Well, I don't think that's true, because we're doing the work in good faith,
Yeah.
and they funded it at the town level. So everything suggests that they will honor their obligation to us this year.
Can you try to at least get our attorney to get our comments to them before the end of this month?
Yeah, well, I'm gonna talk to you guys about how you want to proceed at the board meeting next week.
Okay.
Remember that the chief negotiator on their side is a member of our board.
Yes, but he hasn't been coming to meetings.
No, but I think we could make a decision collectively about how we want to proceed, and I'll report back to you on what you asked me to do before.
Are you sure?
No, I'm not even using that anymore.
Okay.
Okay, moving forward, we have some prepaids, it's all invoices, things that were invoiced in December for January, like health insurance, rent, and a membership to CDG. As well as the town of Queensbury property taxes. For the parcels of land that we carry. Well, I'll go through the main financials and then we'll come back to the software license. So then we also, the accounts payable is minimal, I'm not sure what it is, but. I know. We have deferred income, which is the ARPA grant, that 26,000. We have the memberships that were paid in 2024 for 2025, 55,000 already collected for 2025 membership. I just want to draw our attention to that. That's fantastic. That's a lot of church. Expenses just National Grid and the accrued payroll. That number is going to go down actually. There's a couple of changes that will take place to these because it's year-end financials and there's still some invoices I haven't got, and I just did payroll today and I tried to get ahead, but I was actually mistaken, so I need to pull that number down.
What page are we on?
We're on the financial statement of financial position.
The
Yours
first
looks
page,
different than mine, and
She's got bigger font because apparently we don't deserve
No.
any bigger font.
It's page number 1.
Piggy,
Gotcha.
yeah.
Look different.
we're older than you. We need.
I
big
know,
font,
I
too.
know, yeah, so there's that, I think that squares that up, and then Jim and I were just talking about the software license, if you go up to the other assets, the 11,250 is the in-plan software license, it was before my time, and it sits there, I'm starting to question what we should do with it. because-
Well, the Implant is a software product that is the back end of our website that allows people to do structured queries around your available land, or if they were exploring this as a potential business location, they would have all kinds of variables they can look at, like, workforce within a certain number of miles, commute time, students, all of these things. And what I'm trying to understand is
we pay. We get an update to implant every single year. So treating it as a capital asset and depreciating it doesn't seem to make sense to me.
Just so I understand, we get an update, so does that paid for is that rolled into what we're paying to Walt Houston or whoever was managing? the
No,
website?
they don't buy implant. We buy implant and they use our
But
license.
we haven't been billed for any updates.
No, my point is when we bought the software license a number of years ago, that they update it all the time.
Okay,
Okay, well, I guess what I'm trying to understand is there, are there rules around software where above a certain dollar amount, it has to be capitalized and depreciated? Because most software, we don't treat that way.
Well, it has more to do with the length of the software. So if it's an annual license, it would be expensed. If it's you bought the software like the old box of QuickBooks and you could use it till it died. And it was expensive, then you would capitalize it based on whatever your
Well,
capital.
that's what's
cost is.
happening now. It just
Well-
strikes me that they're behaving more like it's an annual subscription, even though we don't pay.
Because
If
they
we get-
update it annually.
Yeah,
But isn't it, when did this come on the books?
it's old, and it came. on the
Chances
books
are
in
it's totally
January.
amortized.
I think so too.
well, we need to talk to our auditors about it.
It should be read in the appreciation statement. If you want to show me after, I'll. look at it.
I have it, so I printed it out, and yes, it has never appeared on there, and I think it's just something that we.
Well, software typically is amortized over 3 years.
Well, this is all.
Mhm,
What I'm saying is my guess is it's already fully amortized.
mhm. Yeah. Well, we're gonna
But
take care
if
of
it's updated annually, is it extended another 3 years?
I don't know, I have to look at the license agreement, so.
But if you're not paying anything,
it. Right, we're not updating.
Okay, they update.
Yeah,
Right.
this is.
it includes whatever updates you must have.
So it's
Again.
updated at no charge there.
So essentially what the updates are is updates to the data. Because it has this gigantic data query ability, and so they update the links and in some cases, flat files that are associated with. You know, the kind of queries that would be done on it. I'm not sure that the core software changes, but we definitely get updates to the product. And we don't do anything about it, just automatically.
Well, what happens when Windows or whatever changes? You don't need to upgrade
No,
the
it's a
software.
standalone piece of software. So, I mean, they access it through the web browser, but the software essentially acts on its own.
Is it cloud hosted or it's on your system?
Yeah, I don't know. We don't, we pay for the 14, we pay for the security.
It has to
software.
do with the website, though, it sounds like.
I think it's hosted with our web software, but we'll find.
Oh, no, we pay like a monthly fee as part of the Adirondack Tech. Yeah, so I think it's always being updated.
It's sitting on a server. I
Yeah.
don't know if it's our server or data.
Well, at a certain point, the server will no longer be compatible with the software because it won't be updating the program itself. And that's happening in a lot of places now because the way of changing the Windows environment. So you may end up,
Server is being,
I don't know if it's yours is, I just dealt with the 2 separate clients to the tune of 12 grand a server.
ours,
Well, we will explore with the
Capitalized.
auditors and review the license. We're asking the questions ourselves, so we don't know the answer.
moving on to the. Statement of activities,
So basically, this is our year end
mhm.
for our fiscal year. And you think there may be some additional money.
So there's a couple of,
It's written off of
Right.
yes.
What you're-
So, well, it's even before the board meeting, which unfortunately next week, because there's a couple of invoices I've called out for, I
You
haven't
still
gotten
have
them
it,
yet.
it's just,
I'm not
Right
even
on.
sure how sizable they're gonna be. One is for our lawyer, I'm not sure how much time he spent on that, but. There's the legal one, and then there's one other one, and there's the payroll that I have to address.
Okay.
So
So
I thought.
there may
that-
be some changes when we meet next week, but. And that'll be closer to final. When's the audit going to be going? Right
As
away?
soon as I can post this, yeah, I already have. The portal where I can start uploading documents, that's already started.
Okay.
So hopefully we have a schedule, they're gonna be here on the 3rd week of February on site. So there,
Do you think we'll be able to keep our March board meeting, annual meeting same or? would we?
It's kind of late anyway, I think, right?
We want to, approve all that. stuff
So
we
last
did.
year it came out, it worked really well, I thought.
Okay.
Yeah. When they come here at the end of, I mean, that's the date she gives me. It's not, doesn't seem very negotiable. And last year, the timing was very similar.
Will they want to meet with us?
They will probably, yeah, no, I think they usually reach out to you individually. I think they prefer to speak to you individually. And they'll want to talk to Kathy. And. Yeah, it was usually just Kathy. They
Say it's not usually me.
I don't think they'd be coming as early as February 11th, but and they.
No, it's the week after that.
That's
But they don't, I mean, they just come here, they're on site, by then they have already collected most of the documents digitally. And then they're just coming on site to kind of follow up in real time with some questions that they have.
I just have to tell you, I'm happy that we have an entity that we have a good relationship with that's willing to continue to do that. You know
So-
how difficult it is to find them.
Well, to that point,
Significant, you're getting it on.
well, to that point, our contract 3-year term ends with them. We need to, our RFQ needs to go out for them this year.
So I believe that
They're still doing good.
yes, and I believe that they will stick with us because we're not a difficult entity to do this with. That's speculation on my part, but
I imagine that
relationship's very healthy.
the auditors that do the LDC can do both. Is that correct? Or could they?
No, I don't think it has anything to do with that,
Well, I mean, I'm just thinking if MMB doesn't continue.
they're not, I don't think that are their contracts both expiring the same year. I don't 100% know why Ed chose that firm for the LVC.
What was it? What's the name?
Yeah.
I think they're based in Rochester.
They're based out of Rochester. They're very easy to work with.
Yeah, we've had no problems with them, but it just,
They may have been the only ones who bid on it at the time.
But the audit
I
is,
don't remember.
it's $17,000.
For the
Wow.
LLC.
It's gone up, no, the EDC, the LDC is less.
I think it's relative. It's $17,000 versus the cost of you trying to find somebody and talking to them to do this work and paying.
There's several accounting firms that start doing it.
Yeah.
Some government,
They're
related audits.
The rules have become such that they can't make money and you can't pay for what needs to be done.
So 17,000 doesn't come.
Power. I mean,
I think,
I think the audit is in a good place. The thing that is, to me, positive is that she provides a basis of the variability on both the income and the expense side, but we were behind the 8 ball by $50,000 just by what we budgeted in terms of the outlays from the county and other municipalities. The net by the end of the year was only 16 off of what we put. So I feel like the team did a really good job of playing us back to, almost essentially break even it. And on the, first statement, we're literally less than 1% off of our financial balance from where we were a year ago.
It's sort of pretty, I don't want to jump ahead, and I know that this is something that would be handled maybe after the audits are completed. But instead of putting this out to bid, could we just seek a renewal, a 3-year renewal with the existing?
our
auditor?
procurement contract allows us to continue to do business with somebody who was already familiar.
I mean,
Yeah,
if we're
I will have
satisfied
to.
with them, and if we could reduce. I just.
That's a preferred path to me.
Yeah, I will look
I just,
into the
I don't know that the value at this moment in time of putting out an RFP, having these firms submit stuff. I think it,
Well, it sounds like they have not submit stuff.
and they may not, and if we just offer a new contract and negotiate with them, a 3-year agreement, a new price. if we can confirm that the price is in keeping with what the market is right now, then I personally be okay with that.
My guess is if you put it out to bid, anybody that bids on it will be more expensive than your current vendor, because your current vendor has a lot of the groundwork already laid, and it's gonna take 2 years for a new auditor to get all that and get back
Well,
to them.
that in
Exactly.
itself is a reason to not go out to bid.
Yeah.
It's more fiscally responsible, yeah, thought.
The only reason you go out to bid is if you've been stagnant, but they should be changing your partner who's responsible, so you should have a different principal looking at it every so many years.
That's what I thought the issue was, that we had to actually change auditors if we could.
Not audit, you have, the partner who signs the audit usually has to change, and there's a
That's what it meant.
that's if there's a statute specifically that
Yeah.
limits the number of years that one person can sign the financials. They don't want you developing a bond with them and
Yeah.
including into something.
Okay.
They force the change,
But that's on that and not on us.
right, and they'll just have,
It's just,
Well, so I guess I misunderstood. I thought that meant that we were really supposed to go with a different company entity, but okay.
no,
Yeah,
as long as they've been periodically giving you a different partner, but I think you had Jim
Yep.
for a long while, that was a woman or something, wasn't
it's
it?
Jen now. It was, his name is Lucy. I want to say Mark. Yeah, but in fact, I think he retired.
The turnover in accounting today, it's unlikely that you'll have the same auditors more than
Yeah, he
2
did
years.
retire.
Jim,
Wasn't Jim?
Oh, I can't remember.
I
let's
can
see
see
it.
him, yeah.
well, in terms of the December 2024 financials, though, for purposes of the board meeting, you want us to move this forward to go to the board meeting, or given the changes that you think you'll have in the next week, that you should hold off? What do you want?
Do we want to meet briefly before the next board meeting?
I think you advance them.
I should advance them, but
Oh.
they are with the
Changes.
recognition that some
There's some
But there
last
are
minute changes
changes that-
pending.
related to bills that you're expecting.
Is there anything else to go over?
I, at the risk of being, redundant here, I did want to make sure you understood and that we covered with the full board the fact that we did almost get back to
Yes.
square despite being, there were two things that are really completely beyond our control. One is the fact that the ARPA funds, we want to have a book in the other year, even though we've done that work and committed to that work in this year. And the other is the fact that we just simply didn't get the money that we originally budgeted from the municipalities. Between those two, that's $70,000. I look at it and say we underran our expenses by nearly $70,000. So I'm very confident in the team's ability to continue to adapt, to whatever might have happened here. That's our goal when I first came here was to spend into our fund balance. Our goal now is to operate, in a break even sort of way. And this, to me, is a very good sign that the team has made that show.
Okay. I'll make a motion to approve the December 2024 financial report. With the understanding that we're expecting some minor changes, that we'll see at the full board meeting next week.
I'll second.
All in favor?
All in favor?
Aye.
That is all that I had, yeah, I don't. have anything.
I did ask her just for your information's sake, and we do this every year with the auditors, but I continually try to look for opportunities to streamline or improve our chart, particularly in terms of line items that are not active. I don't know if there's anything we can do about them, but we carry some things here that have no activity and happen for several years. Always know when you get
Well,
the auditor.
Did you guys get a copy of the budget? I don't think Trish included it, but this is the budget for next year, and those are all the line items, like that, I don't.
I know it can be counted on one page, but I want to make the
Well-
actual transactional accounting as simple as we can make it.
So here's a, very. Minutia sort of related question, but when I present them, I also can consolidate. The report, like I don't have to have city Glens Falls, like the contracts can all be just one line. the memberships can all just be online, you know, that's, I don't know how interested people are to know and.
Well, that doesn't necessarily
Who
take
is-
more work. I'm more interested in things that wind up taking us work or inject questions at the board level. So for instance, that incubator thing, when you're a new board member,
Oh,
you always, somebody always asks questions about it. We always spend time on it.
Can you help? I have QuickBooks open. Can you help me?
I
Do
do
that, do that, yeah, because
Anyway, I think we're.
Yeah. Okay, a motion to adjourn.
so moved.
Second,
Third. All in favor?
All in favor?
any opposed?
We are adjourned.
Please hold. So if you have any issues with the meeting, this meeting, but next, I've gotta be down in Albany within like a half an hour of the end of the meeting, so. in my